In this video, I will be walking you through the renewal process. We'll cover key dates and deadlines related to this year's renewal period, followed by a walkthrough of each page in the renewal form. At the end of the video, we'll cover some common questions related to renewal. You should be able to easily navigate to different sections of this video so you can locate the information that is applicable to the page that you're working on. Please note that the information and screenshots in this video are examples only. Please ensure your renewal accurately reflects your information. Some important dates, deadlines, and reminders to note before we begin. All registrants are required to renew their registration annually. However, if you registered in early 2026, then you are not required to renew since your registration is valid until March 31st, 2027. Renewal involves submission of the online renewal form and payment of the registration renewal fee. Payment of the renewal fee is the last step of the process. This year's renewal form may appear different from previous years as we continue to make improvements. Renewal will open by February 14th and will be due on March 31st by 5 p.m. Eastern. If you are in the RP category and planning to transfer to inactive for this year, your category transfer request must be submitted by March 17th. Registrants who request to transfer after this deadline may be required to pay the RP renewal fee to renew their registration. All renewals submitted past the deadline are subject to a late fee of $150 plus HST. Fees must be paid by credit card. CRPO accepts Visa, MasterCard, and Discover. Debit cards or other credit card types will be declined by the system. If you do not have a credit card, the only alternative is to obtain a prepaid credit card. So let's begin. The renewal form is accessed through your CRPO user account. If you can't remember your password, click Forgot Password, then enter your email address on the following screen and submit the request. Further instructions are available on the login page. In some cases, when you log in, you may only see the health professions information and receipt tabs as shown here. If upon logging in this is all you see, that means you need to complete the Health Professions Database, or HPDB, questions related to training and practice history. You will not be able to access the renewal form or other sections of your account until you have responded to the HPDB questions. If you see this, you will need to click the yellow button and complete the training and practice history questions. Once you have logged into your account and completed the HPDB questions, you want to click on the Renewal tab. This will open the renewal landing page, which contains basic information about renewal. You should see a button on the bottom left that says Click to access your renewal form. This opens the renewal form. If you do not see this button on the Renewal tab, you may have outstanding fees past the due date, which need to be paid before you can access the renewal form. Open invoices can be paid through the Receipts page of your account. Please be aware that after payment, it may take up to 1 business day for the renewal to be made available to you. If you have any questions about outstanding fees in your account, please contact info@crpo.ca. Before we talk about the form, I want to highlight one new change to the renewal form. To help provide clarity, CRPO has added a banner to the top of each page of the renewal form. The banner will confirm your current registration category. If you wish to renew in a different category of registration, or if you notice any issues with the information in this banner, please contact registration@crpo.ca. After clicking the button to access the renewal form, you'll be directed to the background page. This includes information about the renewal form, as well as other registration-related information that may be helpful to review. As outlined, the renewal form will include pages about home address, practice sites, specifically to fill in any missing information, recent experience related to psychotherapy or currency, health professions database questions, including current employment and proportions of practice during the previous calendar year, education related to the practice of psychotherapy, and education outside the profession. Regulatory history, including any new current registrations and licenses, any past registrations or licenses that have not yet been reported, and any new refused applications for registration that have not yet been reported. Professional conduct, conditions and accommodations, declaration and consent to the release of information. In this video, we'll dive into each of these pages in more detail. The background page also outlines information that is not collected in the renewal form and where these pieces should be updated instead. All of these pieces of information can be updated at any time in their respective tabs. Other personal information, such as your email address, can be updated in the About Me tab. Adding new practice sites or reporting clinical experience hours, this can be done at any time in the Practice Information tab of your account. Requesting to transfer categories, these requests are submitted through the Transfer Request tab of your account. Health Information Custodian Successor Information, this can be updated on the Successor Custodian tab of your account. Professional liability insurance information is not collected as part of renewal. As part of the renewal declaration, you will confirm that you have and maintain adequate PLI coverage. Quality assurance program requirements like the self-assessment and attestation, the QA program is a separate college process that is not completed as part of renewal. Once you have read through all the information on the background page, click Continue to proceed. The next page of the renewal form is about your home address on file with CRPO. For this page, review the information and ensure it is correct and up to date. Take the time to make any edits to your home address, primary phone number, and secondary phone number. Once you've confirmed the information is correct, click Continue to proceed to the next page. The next page of the renewal form is about current practice sites. This page serves a few different purposes. On this page, you'll be presented with the information for all current practice sites in your account. That is, any records from the Practice Information tab of your account where you've indicated you are currently offering psychotherapy services will be shown here. If you have no current practice sites, you will not see any records on the page as shown here. If you are currently practicing and you see there are no current practice sites listed, that means you may need to go and update your practice site information in the Practice Information tab of your user account. This is separate from renewal, so you'll need to return to the Renewal tab to submit the renewal form after you have updated your practice site information. If you do have current practice sites reported, the information will appear in a table like this. The table will show site type, employer name, city, province, and country. Take this time to review the information and ensure it's correct. For example, if you see a practice site listed on this page that is no longer current, you'll need to go to the Practice Information tab of your account to add an end date for that entry. Making updates in the Practice Information page is separate from renewal, so you'll need to return to the Renewal tab to submit the renewal form after you have updated your practice site information. The renewal form will also check for current practice site entries where information collected for the Health Professions database is missing or there are other fields requiring correction. If you have a current practice site where information is missing or needs correction, the entries will appear in a table like this in red. To review and correct the information, click the Click to Edit link on the left of each entry, review the information, and make the necessary updates or corrections. Once you have filled in or corrected the information for all entries that have been flagged, the practice site will no longer appear in red and you will be able to proceed with your renewal form. Please be aware that some fields for the practice site, such as street address or phone number, cannot be edited as part of renewal. To make these types of changes, you will need to go to the Practice Information tab of your account to add an end date for that entry. Making updates in the Practice Information page is separate from renewal, so you'll need to return to the Renewal tab to submit the renewal form after you have updated your practice site information. For the Health Professions database, registrants must designate their primary, secondary, and tertiary practice sites. For this purpose, CRPO has also added a site type field to practice sites, which allows registrants to designate the type for each current practice site. Registrants can only designate one practice site as their primary, one as their secondary, and one as their tertiary. If you are only practicing at one site, that site should be designated as your primary. If you are practicing at two sites, you would designate one as your primary and one as your secondary. This logic continues for registrants practicing at 3 or more practice sites. After designating your primary, secondary, and tertiary sites, all other current practice sites should be designated as an additional site. If you have designated more than one practice site as your primary site, you'll encounter an error message like this. You will need to go to the Practice Information page of your account and designate the site types appropriately before you can proceed with your renewal. Just to recap, for current practice sites, you'll want to review the following. Are all of your current practice sites listed here? If there is a practice site where you are providing psychotherapy services but it is not listed, make sure to add it in the Practice Information tab of your account. Are there any practice sites listed here that are no longer current? If you stopped working at a practice site and need to update this, please do so in the Practice Information tab. Are there any entries presented in red which require review? If so, make sure to review each entry and fill out any missing or incomplete information. You will not be able to proceed with the renewal form until all entries in red have been resolved. Have you designated the site type for each current practice site appropriately? If you need to edit the site type, please do so in the Practice Information tab. The next page is recent experience related to psychotherapy. This is like the currency page you have seen in the past years. Registrants in the qualifying and inactive categories are not required to report on currency. So for registrants in these categories completing renewal, you'll just see this page with information about currency in the profession. We recommend reviewing the information so that you are familiar with the currency requirements for RPs. For registrants in the RP category, this page is asking you to confirm whether you have completed 750 currency hours in the past 3 years. The currency window for this year's renewal is January 1st, 2023 to December 31st, 2025. RP registrants must consider whether they have completed 750 hours of psychotherapy-related activities during that time. Currency hours means time spent doing any broad range of professional activities related to psychotherapy. This includes direct client contact, but also includes other activities like professional development and engaging in clinical supervision, either as a supervisor or supervisee. If you have completed 750 currency hours, select Yes from the dropdown. For the purposes of renewal, you are just asked to confirm whether you have completed the hours. You do not need to provide documentary proof of currency hours unless specifically requested by CRPO staff. The second question is asking whether you provide clinical supervision to students or graduates intending to register with CRPO, RP qualifying, or RP registrants. Simply select Yes or No. If you select No, additional questions will appear asking you to provide a breakdown of the hours you have completed in the currency window. You will also be required to provide an explanation of the hours that you have completed, any circumstances that affected your ability to gain hours, and propose upgrading activities that you intend to complete to upgrade your knowledge, skills, and experience. Please provide as much detail as you can in response to each question. Your submission will be reviewed by CRPO staff. The next few pages are the Health Professions Database questions, or HPDB for short. HPDB was developed by the Ministry of Health in collaboration with Ontario's health regulatory colleges to collect demographic, geographic, and educational and employment information about regulated health professionals, which allows the Ministry of Health to identify supply-side trends and issues about regulated health professionals. For the purpose of renewal, the pages related to HPDB will collect information on current employment and proportions of practice, education related to the profession, and education outside the profession. Throughout these pages, there may be questions which refer to the profession. This is just referring to the scope of practice of psychotherapy. Many of the questions on these pages require you to select the most applicable response from a drop-down menu. CRPO staff have created a PDF document with the drop-down menu options listed in French, which is available in the Resources section of the Renewal webpage. The Current Employment page asks about your psychotherapy practice during the past calendar year. Please select the most appropriate option for each field. Depending on the responses selected, additional fields may appear. If you select that you have practiced the profession during the past year, you will be asked to complete the Proportions section. This section is for the percentage of practice time in an average work week dedicated to different types of professional activities. The fields in this section represent a percentage of time dedicated to each activity. For example, in an average week, what percentage of your time is spent on direct professional activities? Please select the most appropriate percentage for each area. The total for all the boxes must be 100% since it's a percentage. The total box at the bottom will calculate the sum of the percentages that you enter in the 6 boxes. If the sum is more or less than 100, you'll see the error message and you will not be able to proceed. If it is helpful, the Renewal webpage of the CRPO website includes an example of how to fill this out. Once you have completed this information and confirmed that it's correct, click Continue to proceed to the next page. The next page is about education related to the profession of psychotherapy. On this page, you'll be presented with the information for all completed education in the profession in your account. That is, any completed education in psychotherapy that you have reported will be shown here. If you have not reported any completed education in the profession, you will not see any records on the page as shown here. If you have completed education in the profession, please click the I have completed additional education related to the profession button. This will take you to a page where you can enter the information about the education program you have completed. Please repeat this for any other education programs in psychotherapy that you have completed. Once your education information is up to date, please click All education I have completed related to the profession is listed above. When you click to add a new education program in psychotherapy, you'll be directed to this page. Please select the most appropriate option for each field. Depending on the responses selected, additional fields may appear. If your program was completed in Canada, you will be asked to indicate the name of the institution or school for the program. The drop-down list of institutions is in alphabetical order, and some institutions are listed in French. If you graduated from a private institution, your education institution is likely not listed, so please select Private Career College. If your institution is not listed, you should select none of the above. If you do have completed education in psychotherapy reported, the information will appear in a table like this. The table will show institution, credential awarded, country, and graduation year. CRPO is in the process of reviewing and updating education records for all registrants. As such, you may see some errors in the education information previously reported, such as duplicate entries, typos in the institution name, or a blank graduation year. Please do not create a new record for this same education credential to avoid creating additional duplicate records. If you notice a correction needs to be made to an existing entry, please email registration@crpo.ca to note the corrections. Once you have emailed, please proceed with your renewal. Do not wait for a response from staff, as corrections to this information will likely be done after the renewal period is over. After adding new education information in the renewal, you'll see the information separated into two tables as shown here. The table at the top includes all completed education programs in psychotherapy that you previously reported prior to this renewal, as mentioned previously. The second table includes all completed education programs in psychotherapy that you have added as a part of this year's renewal. You have the opportunity to review and edit these records before submitting your renewal. If you notice you have made a mistake when creating a new entry, you can click Edit on the left-hand side and make your corrections. A quick recap for education in the profession: you'll want to review the following. Are all education programs in psychotherapy that you have completed reflected here? If you have previously reported education in psychotherapy, are there any errors or missing information? If so, email registration@crpo.ca, and CRPO staff will correct this information for you after the renewal period is over. If you have created entries for new education programs in psychotherapy, is the information correct? You can edit new entries up until you submit your renewal, so make sure to double check that the information was entered accurately. This next page is about education in a field other than psychotherapy. Specifically, this page is asking for your highest level of education outside the profession. If you have not previously reported completing a higher level of education outside the profession, this page will appear as shown here. If you have completed a higher level of education in a field unrelated to psychotherapy, please select Yes. Additional questions will appear, which must be filled out to proceed. Please ensure you are only reporting education that you have completed and was in a field unrelated to psychotherapy. If you are currently enrolled in the program or did not fully complete the program, it should not be reported here. If you have not completed a higher level of education in a field unrelated to psychotherapy, you would simply select No. If you previously reported completing education outside the profession, the information will appear at the top of the page like this. This section will show you level achieved, field of study, graduation year, and education location. If you have completed a new education program at a higher level than what is shown in any field outside of the profession, please select Yes and report the details of your new highest education completed outside the profession. For example, if you previously reported completing a bachelor's degree unrelated to psychotherapy, and you now have completed a master's degree unrelated to psychotherapy, you should select Yes to report your new master's degree. If the information shown is accurate, please select No and proceed to the next page. The next few pages are about regulatory history. This includes 3 pages for other current registrations, reporting any new current registrations and licenses with other regulatory bodies, or reporting changes to existing current registrations with other regulatory bodies. Past registrations, reporting any new past registrations or licenses with other regulatory bodies that have not yet been reported, or reporting changes to existing past registrations with other regulatory bodies. Refused applications for registration, reporting any new refused applications for registration that have not yet been reported, or reporting changes to previously reported refused applications for registration. On each page, you'll be asked to confirm whether you have anything new to report. Similar to the education pages of the renewal form, for each of these pages, if you have entered information in the past, you will see a table reflecting any information previously reported at the top of the page. Since these pages are similar, we will just walk through the other current registrations page. The past registrations and refusal pages are structured the same way. If you have not previously reported any regulatory history, the page will look like this. If you need to report something new, select Yes from the drop-down and enter the relevant information on the next page. If you do not have anything to report in these sections, select No from the drop-down and proceed to the next page. If you have previously reported regulatory history, the information will appear in a table like this on the corresponding page. The table will include name of the statutory regulatory body, initial registration date, and jurisdiction of the regulatory body. If you need to report a change or update to existing entries, click the Report Changes link on the right-hand side. You'll be able to describe any changes in the text box. If you need to report something new, select Yes from the drop-down and enter the relevant information on the next page. If you have no new information to report, please select No and proceed to the next page. When adding a new entry for regulatory history, you'll be directed to one of these pages, depending on whether it's current, past, or a refusal. If it's current, you'll be asked to provide information about the registration and confirm whether you have ever received a finding of professional misconduct with that regulator. If it's past, you'll answer the same questions as for current registrations, but you'll also be asked to confirm the end or expiration date of a registration with that regulator. If it's a refusal, you'll be asked to confirm the date of refusal and to provide a description of the reasons for refusal. You also have the option to upload supporting documentation. After adding new regulatory history information in the renewal, you'll see a new table under the Entered on this renewal heading. This table includes entries you made in this renewal form. You have the opportunity to review and edit these records before submitting your renewal. If you notice you made a mistake when creating a new entry, you can click Edit Entry on the right-hand side and make your corrections. The next page is Professional Conduct. This page is for disclosing any information on things like criminal offenses, criminal charges, professional negligence or misconduct, or any similar events or findings. For renewal, registrants are being asked to report any new findings or events. If you previously reported a finding or event in your initial application or a previous renewal, you do not need to disclose it again unless there are changes or updates that you need to report. If you're unsure whether you previously reported something, please email info@crpo.ca and CRPO staff can confirm this for you. If you need to disclose something new, select Yes to the applicable question and provide a written response in the provided text box. Each question also has an optional document upload field. The next page is about conditions and accommodations. This page is for reporting any physical or mental conditions that affect your ability to practice and/or to request any accommodation for CRPO processes. If you need to report something for either of these questions, select Yes and fill out the applicable text boxes. Additional questions will appear if you select Yes. If you have reported a condition or accommodation in the past, you do not need to re-report it again unless there are any changes. The last page of the form is the declaration. You must read the declaration in its entirety, then tick the checkbox that says I agree to confirm you have read and agree to the declaration. Once this is complete, click the Proceed to Payment button to move on to the payment step. After clicking the Proceed to Payment page, you'll be directed to the renewal invoice. This will show you the renewal fee for your registration category and the applicable tax. For this year's renewal, the registration renewal fee for each category is $620 plus HST for RP registrants, $338 plus HST for qualifying registrants, and $310 plus HST for inactive registrants. Please double-check your invoice to ensure you are being charged the correct fee based on your current registration category. To pay the invoice, click Add to Cart. Once this has been added, you can go to your cart, review the invoice once more, and enter your credit card information. As a reminder, CRPO currently accepts Visa, MasterCard, and Discover. Debit cards and other types of credit cards will not work. Once you have filled in your credit card information, ensure you only click Process Payment one time. It may take a moment for the payment to go through and for the page to reload. If your payment is submitted successfully, you'll be redirected to an order confirmation page. A copy of this order confirmation will also be sent to your email. Once you have submitted your form and payment, your renewal status and outcome will update. You can view the status of your renewal in the Renewal tab. Some common renewal statuses and outcomes are as follows. Open and not submitted means you have not started your renewal form. In progress and not submitted means you have started your renewal form, but you have not yet submitted it. Payment pending and awaiting payment means you have not yet paid the renewal fee. Please note it can take several minutes for your payment to be processed, so it is normal to see this status and outcome if you recently submitted payment. Pending review and under review means you made a disclosure or change that requires staff review, so your renewal is now in the queue to be reviewed. Under review and under review means that your renewal is now being reviewed by CRPO staff. You'll be contacted by email if staff have any follow-up questions for you. Complete and approved means your renewal has been approved, either automatically because you had no changes or manually after your changes were reviewed by staff. You should receive an email confirming your renewal was approved. After you have submitted your renewal, what's next? It normally takes a regulatory body several months to review all renewals, so if you've completed both the form and payment, you can continue to practice as usual while your renewal is being processed. CRPO does not issue a new certificate of registration each year. We recommend directing individuals to the public register to confirm your registration status. Registrants may also request a letter of standing, subject to an administrative fee at any time through their CRPO user account. If you need a receipt for your renewal fees, you can download this directly through the Receipts tab of your user account. In the Receipts tab, locate the record of payment for the renewal fee by looking at the amount or date of payment. Once you have located the payment, click the Print Receipt link to the right. This will generate your receipt. Please note that it may take several minutes to load, so do not refresh the page. Once the receipt loads, you can export the receipt to PDF. This will download a copy of the receipt as a PDF to your computer, which you can then save for your records or print a copy. Lastly, we'll go over some of the most common questions asked about renewal. For a comprehensive list of frequently asked questions, please visit the Renewal webpage. Can I delete an entry? No, you will not be able to delete information once it's been added. You can email staff at info@crpo.ca to specify what entry you would like deleted. I proceeded to payment but realized I made a mistake in the form. Can I go back? Once you have proceeded to payment, you will no longer be able to access the pages of the renewal form. If you have made an error in your renewal form but have proceeded to the payment page, please email staff at info@crpo.ca to specify what information needs to be corrected. I do not intend on renewing. How do I notify CRPO? If you wish to resign your registration, please submit a resignation request directly through the Transfer Request tab of your user account. What happens if I don't renew? Registrants who do not renew their registration by 5 p.m. on March 31st will incur a late fee. Payment of the late fee will be required to renew. Registrants who are late and do not renew, including paying the late fee, by 11:59 p.m. on April 30th, may be suspended. Suspended individuals are no longer able to practice the profession, and the suspension is reflected on the public register. The fee for lifting a suspension is $350 plus HST. And that's it. Please remember that this year's renewal is due by 5 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday, March 31st. After this deadline, a late fee will be applied. If you encounter any issues with your renewal, please see the renewal page of the CRPO website in case your question is answered there. If you require further assistance, please email info@crpo.ca or you can call us at 416-479-4330, option 2.